What's your story? What's your sign? It's like we're twin flames in a different life. Deep connection lights a spark. It's like you know me in the depths of my heart. We're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're living like this could be our final day. We're dreamers. Don't care what the others say. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive. What's your weakness? What's your type? Somehow I wanna know all about you. Deep connection lights a spark. You already know me when we dance in the dark. We're dreamers. We're living. We're dreamers. We're doing this in our way. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. Oh, we come alive. We come alive. Oh, we come alive. Tell me that you want me. I can see you want me by the look in your eyes. Tell me that you want me. I can see you want me by the look in your eyes. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive in the nighttime. Something about how we dance in the moonlight. That look in your eyes, it tells me that you want me and all my loving. We come alive in the nighttime. You and I, we come alive. We come alive. We come alive.
Hey, 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 how is everyone? Happy Thursday. It's finally getting cool here in the UK. It's been bearable. The other day it was like a hotbox. Literally felt like I was in Thailand without the nice beaches. So it's bearable again, and I hope everyone is okay. Welcome to the chat. Hey, Castello. Hi. Hello, Eulita Amoroso. Don't think I've seen your name before. Welcome. See if we've got any more new names. Definitely some new listeners because we're almost at 10,000. Thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We can probably get to 10,000 by tomorrow or the day after. Lynn, hi, and where are the drinks? You didn't bring them? You didn't bring the drinks? Hello, Marilyn. Welcome to the chat. Hey, Joan Commonwealther. Hey, Denise. Hi, Vinny. Hi, Chesn to be here. Hi, Cat Harlem. Bonnie. I feel like I haven't seen you for a while, or maybe I just haven't noticed your name in the chat, but hi. Hi, April May. Hi, Wendy. The song puts you in a good mood. Good. I'm glad that it does. guys know that I like changing it every now and again. All right, all right. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Thursday chat. And yes, don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe button. Now, a couple of things before we get into it. First of all, I'm sure many of you have probably read my article on Harry that I posted on the Doctors of Success blog. I finally have the first blog post on the site almost a year, I think, after I bought the domain. And it was like a 1,200 word article, and I was like, I need to treat myself. So I went to Capo Concerto and got crepe, crepes of Nutella. But I really put a lot of thought into that article. So I will put the link in the chat. So if you haven't read it, please do give it a read and share it around. And I will be doing more, more blog posts as basically from now on. I feel like writing is really my talent, and it's something that I love. And as much as I love doing the podcast, I think there's something about written words where you really get the emotion and the feeling of something when something's written. And I also think it's important to, in this, in what we're trying to do as a squad, push back against the narrative, to push back on every media form that we can. So whether it's podcasts, whether it's on social media, and whether it's in written form. And there's some amazing blogs. I know that Meganpedia, I don't think she posts anymore, but a lot of the archives are there. And I forget the name, but there was also another blog that was very similar to Meganpedia, where they wrote very detailed articles in a way that none of the other royal rodents are writing, really getting to the underbelly of what's been going on the last 4 or 5 years. And that's what I would like to do with my blog, is challenge myself journalistically and write about things that even royal correspondents who try to be fair aren't writing about. Like, I think that there's room for a little bit more of a feisty voice. And that's what I would like to be. I would like to be a feisty voice. So thank you so much to everyone who read it, and please do share it around. And also, I have, because now I am writing on the blog, I'm going to kickstart the newsletter also. So I'll put the link for the newsletter if anybody wants to sign up. I'll put the link a little bit later because the page isn't opening at the moment. But there will be a weekly, bi-weekly newsletter going forward as well. Yes, Palmer, it was very delish. I did not think about the amount of calories. Joyce, it was a wonderful article. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. Like, the feedback was generally really great. So I'm glad you all enjoyed it. And if there's anything in particular you want me to focus on, please do let me know. Palmer, what happened to Meganpedia? Probably just busy with life, to be honest. I think she still posts on Instagram, but these articles, especially like if you really want to get deep and tell us, weave a story like what I try to do with this article about Harry, it really does actually take a lot of your brain time. It took me 2 days to write that article. So what happened to Meganpedia? She's probably just busy with life, darling. And she did a lot of work on her website. I can't even begin to imagine how much work she put into that. And I think there might have been some other contributors, but it takes a lot of time. But thank you so much, everyone, your support on the blog. All right, let's get to it. With the heat wave, the British tabloid press with their nonsense always. You had the Daily, a tale of two headlines. The Daily Fail, in one on one cover, calling Britain snowflakes and praising Charles for wearing a jacket. I don't know why we're glorifying the elderly um, giving themselves a heat stroke. And then another picture where you had the guard in their bare skin. Now, I believe that about halfway through the day, the guards were actually told to step away from duty. They should have never been told to go out in the first place. It was way too hot to be wearing bare skin. I mean, to be honest, I would have if it wasn't weird and indecent exposure, I would have happily walked around naked the other day. It was hot enough in the thinnest silk dress, and they had these people in bare skin, and they're like celebrating it like it's something to be proud of. And then on the other headline, you have Nightmare of the Wildfire. So on one hand, you're calling people snowflakes, and then you're, sensationalizing what, don't get me wrong, were awful fires. And I hope everybody was okay and no one was hurt. But they were pretty isolated. They made it kind of seem like, like the whole country was burning, and that's not the case at all. But anyway, the heat wave is pretty much gone now. It's going to be hot, but not as hot as it was the other day. Oh, Maggie, looking forward to my articles. I subscribe to the newsletter. Fantastic. Yes, I'll put the newsletter link up later, but I'll just leave the link to the blog up for now. Mercy, I cannot wait to see a detailed article of Megan's life with all her accomplishments. The new book, Want Us to Think Nothing Is There. Love your work. Oh, thank you so much. So I have actually been thinking about writing a book, like about Megan, but from a slightly different perspective. So it's something like I'm still kind of playing around with the idea. But I would definitely like to write something, and I think the blog is kind of just is practice for when I'm ready to take that step and when I have like a clear idea of what I want to do. I do believe there's another girl in the squad who did actually write a book about Megan, and I forget the title. If anybody remembers what the title is, or if anybody has a link to that book, please do post it. She's not like an official royal reporter or anything. She's just a squaddie. But she actually did write a book about Megan as well. So I think it's good that in the squad, like you have, had some people who have put material out there, and it may not become as big as Finding Freedom or any of the other books, but I think it's anything positive is great. Joyce, they are trying to make people think that UK had expensive heat wave. Just don't understand. Yeah, like we had a day like this about 2 years ago. I think we did have like one day, and it was literally one day where it was like 39, 40 degrees, and then it was gone. So, like, I don't know. Like, I honestly think they're just kind of sensationalizing it a bit in comparison to other countries in Europe where they have literally had the most awful wildfires. It hasn't actually been that bad here. Skeptical, totally ridiculous. They are but decoration, mainly after all. Exactly. They're not even actually guarding anything. Really weird. Okay, so that was that. I'm not gonna put the a screenshot of the actual article because I don't want to give it too much attention. But I was scrolling through the feed and something came up on one of the Royal Rodents feeds about apparently Camilla allegedly saying that wouldn't it be funny if Archie had afro ginger hair. Now, obviously, this is one of the Royal Rodents. For all we know, it's just clickbait. Um, but if you ask me, afro ginger hair looks pretty good. So I don't know why the Royal Rodents think that putting out articles like that or statements like that are going to make these people look any better. It just makes them look worse. But again, it could just be clickbait. But please pay them no mind. Give love. I'd rather read a book from a squaddy perspective than from the royal rodents. Yeah, like especially anybody who followed Meghan before life as a royal. I mean, put your words out into the world, even if it's just on Twitter or make an Instagram, do anything. You know, the more of us that create platforms, the better. Mm. Okay. Next thing I wanted to mention, everything that Meghan wore to New York is pretty much selling out. I remember seeing the clutch bag that she had in her hand when she was with Gloria Steinem and just thinking like, wow, where did she get that from? Unfortunately, it's $400. But I'm gonna try and find a dupe because it is a pretty cool bag. But one squaddy who actually likes to buy a lot of Meghan's clothes did buy it, and she's got it already. And the almost $5,000 jumpsuit that Meghan wore has sold out as well. That's insane. Like, we've got some very rich squaddies up in the squad. Can you like to the rich squaddies who buy all of these outfits? Can you please tell us how you made your money? Because dang, like 5,000 on a jumpsuit. Like we must have investors, lawyers, all types of people in the squad. Because who be buying a $5,000 jumpsuit? But good for you if you can afford it. Maggie, list yourself as a royal reporter. You have as much experience as the tabloid people. I purchased The Duchess's Success by Abby Barrow. Okay, but way too brief. Oh, is that what it was called? The Duchess's. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, because I remember uh, Tina mentioning it in a podcast, so that's how I know there was definitely a book by Squaddy. But I'm assuming that's the one that you meant. Okay, so you felt it was a little bit too brief, but it's great to know that someone's put stuff out there. Um, Joyce's statements have been coming out on HM does not make the palace look good at all. Um, I can believe about the red afro. The family is horrible, and Camilla hands are not clean in all of this. Yeah, she's kind of escaped scrutiny for the most part when it comes to, especially the issue of Archie and the kids and Meghan's treatment. But her time is coming. She's not going to have an easy time as queen consort. Yes, hun, Meghan does indeed have an amazing taste in clothes, and she's always had a signature style. Um, Meghan's always been that girl. I mean, look at this. This is pre-royal life. She very much had her own sense of style and own sense of identity, and you can see how she's perfected her style over the years. But she's always kind of had one solid look, very clean lines, very minimalist. When she goes for color, she definitely goes for pops of color. She knows her silhouette and how it looks in clothes. So you can see that her style has polished over time, but she's always had a signature style, and she knows herself and what not just looks good on her, but what she feels comfortable in. Thank you so much, Chef Sandy, for the super sticker. Much appreciated, darling. Joan, Camilla is very snarky. Would believe that she said it. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all. Lottie, and the jumpsuit would look good on you. Thank you very much. But I definitely do not have the money right now to be spending £5,000 on a jumpsuit. Like, wow. Shout out to my rich squaddies. Yes, Gwendolyn, Megan wears the clothes. They do not wear her. All right, so that's that. On to the next thing. So this is the gentleman, in case anybody was wondering who did Megan's hair in New York. This is a very talented stylist, and you can see that he styled quite a few people, quite a few well-known people. So good for him. Um, and you could well now you know why Megan looked so darn fabulous, and he's been getting a lot of love from the blue checks, and I'm sure he'll be getting a lot more bookings. Sorry, I actually forgot to zoom in a little bit more, so I can't actually see his name. Um, but he's like all over the interweb, so go and look on the tweets, and you'll find his name. Also, Delphina, that's Megan's sister from another mother, posted a picture of the inside of her house with the caption saying, "A little homesick right now." So this is where Megan goes for tea over at Delphina and Nacho's house. Like, how beautiful is that interior? And look at how high the ceilings are. Gorgeous, minimalist, got coffee table books. I love that table with the really unique woodwork and just open and breezy. Very kind of similar style actually to Megan's house, but a little bit more I think modern. Megan's has that kind of like old school Mediterranean feel, but both very beautiful. But yeah, that's where Megan goes for coffee. The Cams are looking for a digital lead. if, if there are any squaddies who want to play spy, please do apply. I would absolutely love for a squaddie to apply and get a job in the palace because then we'd have an inside source. I have no idea how much this is paying. Definitely not enough to sell your soul. We know that McDonald's actually pays more than uh, to be Kate Middleton's assistant. So yeah, if any squaddies want to play spy, there's a job for digital lead going. Please take one for the team. Also, Omid put out a great article the other day, also about Harry, and there were a few parts that I thought were quite interesting. He said that his Harry's forthcoming memoir is actually now finished and has completed legal checks. So not too long now before we'll probably get some kind of announcement or pre-orders will drop. And I just can't wait because I feel like Harry's memoir is just gonna shut everybody else's down. I think this whole Tom Bower situation was a last minute attempt to basically distract from Harry's memoir. And nothing is going to distract from Harry's memoir because Harry's memoir is about to be the main event. Um, so yeah, that is that. And you know, Tom Bowers, speaking to Piss Moron, basically admitted that the book was designed to cause damage. I didn't watch the show, but this was a transcript. Tom Bowers said, "If their importance is diminished, which I hope my book will do, is will do is show what really." And then Piers Morgan interrupts him, and then he says, "Any lawsuits yet?" And Tom Bowers said, "Too early, too early." So basically, what I gather from this was that he wrote this book full of lies in order to lure the Sussexes to basically sue him. That's what he wants. He basically wants to be sued. And I don't understand why you would. I mean, okay, let's just say his logic is that if the Sussexes sue him, he'll get attention. But he's still putting himself at risk of being taken to court, and the Sussexes have a good track record of winning, and him basically getting absolutely rinsed. I do wonder if Tom Bowers is being backed by the palace. And if he's being told, "Oh, don't worry if you know the Sussexes sue you, we've got your back." I don't know what's going on, but I find it very strange that you would try to bait someone into suing you just for the sake of getting attention for your book when there's a chance that you could really get yourself in trouble. Having said that, I don't fully understand libel law, so maybe he knows that the things that he has said won't get him into too much trouble. But yeah, he basically just admitted that he did all of this with the intention of getting sued. He also said, and this is why I personally think that there could be someone in the palace backing him or he's palace connected. He said, they pose a real threat to the royal family. This rhetoric of Harry and Meghan being a threat to the royals has come up over and over and over and over again. And I don't understand how two people minding their own business can be a bigger threat to the royals than Prince Andrew. Like, how? Because they're more popular? And I also don't understand how the firm at this point don't seem to get that Harry and Meghan could disappear in the fifth dimension tomorrow. It doesn't mean that the other royals, that Kate and William or Charles and Camilla, will be more liked by the public. They seem to have this idea in their head that if they can somehow ruin Harry and Meghan's reputation or get rid of Harry and Meghan, that it's going to make the other royals more popular, or people will pay more attention to them. And that's just not the case. Nobody cares other than the royalists on this island. Nobody cares about Kate and William and Charles and Camilla. And I feel like Kate and William, who are going to go to the US in December, are going to learn this lesson the hard way. They're going to learn the hard way how nobody cares about you. They've decided to take Earthworm to Boston. And I saw this article come up on the feed. Black Bostonians fled to Atlanta to escape racism. They're not coming back. So it just seems like there's a pattern that follows the Cambridges anywhere they go. And how interesting that they would, choose Boston, where apparently Black people are fleeing. Anyone who lives in the US and has anything to add to this story or say anything about this, please say it in the comment section. All right, we'll go to your comments before we carry on. Thank you, Lucy Wynn, as always, for reminding everyone. You always remind everyone, Lucy Wynn. Thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And thank you to the mods, as always. Classy. Someone needs to tell Camilla Harry's children are Diana's children, nothing to do with her, so it doesn't matter what they look like. Diana would have loved them still. Exactly. She's probably very bitter. The grandkids got those beautiful Spencer jeans with the ginger hair. Joan, have they run out of Daily Mail people to hire? What do you mean? I hear that a Meghan McCain girl is apparently writing for them now. Grace, not surprised William censored Diana's interview. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. Just completely and utterly outrageous. Let's just get through your comments first. Rosa, Duchess to success. How would Omid know if the book is finished, Prince Harry? If it doesn't come from him, it's not true. Well, Omid has been given exclusives by the Sussex camp before, and quite recently, actually. So, that's why I'm not questioning that he said that it's finished and that it's gone through legal checks. Because he has been given information to pass on from the Sussex camp before. Dolores, has the release of the book been delayed till November? Yes, it has been. But I think only in Australia, or was it Canada? I can't remember in yesterday's podcast, but it was only in one country. There was a tweet that kind of went semi-viral earlier today that apparently it's been held back in Australia and New Zealand and in some other countries, but the Twitter account that it came from looked a bit suspicious. So that's why I'm not. Um, I I don't know about other countries. Um, Terry, his book is to get a reaction from the Sussexes. Yeah, I think he wants a reaction, but ultimately, I think that Tom Bauer is going to get himself in so much more trouble than I think he realizes. I mean, just look at everybody who's come after the Sussexes and who's come after Meghan so far. I don't know what he thinks he's doing. Agnes, the royal brand is getting damaged by Bauer's book. At this point, the royal family are destroying itself. Harry's performance at the UN was stunning. Yeah, and they cannot get over it. I think that they are still just reeling from not only how amazing it was, but the amount of coverage that it got. It was global coverage. And this is the problem that I think the firm don't seem to realize that they have, is that whatever they do, it might make a little bit of a splash here in the UK. Kate tinkering on the piano, but it's not going to make international news. And that's the problem that they have, because Harry and Meghan make international news. Teslin, if he sues, the most curious people want to purchase the book, enough to help him make a huge profit. But if he gets sued, he may have to pay all that profit back. And honestly, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think there's a chance that this book could actually sell very well, and then he gets sued for all his money, and then he'll have nothing. Because karma seems to be working that way for the Sussex's enemies. Yes, Hen Pao, I think that this book is manufactured by the institution as well. It's been given way too much airplay. I mean, he was on I think Good Morning Britain on Jeremy Vine. Thank you, Legs, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. All right, on to the next thing. A set. Yes, so this story. Oi, so the BBC is going to pay damages to the royal nanny, uh, Tiggy Leg. Apparently, there were rumors about infidelity with Charles, that supposedly there was a love child. Um, I mean, if the claims were untrue, then fair enough. Nobody wants anything libelous written about them, and if it affected her life in any way, um, and this is her getting her justice for any damage that was done, then fair enough. But this is the royals that we're talking about. Is the idea of a nanny, having an affair with Charles, is that like so outrageous and so like that could never happen? No, that's exactly the type of thing that happens in these households. But if it's not true and she deserves these damages, then fair enough. It's just weird that this is all happening now and after all of these years. So just to read the BBC interview, sorry, the BBC article, it says BBC is paying damages to the ex-nanny to Prince William and Harry over false claims made about her to obtain a 1995 Princess Diana interview. And I honestly think that all of this has more to do with the Diana interview than it has to do with her. And they could just be using this as a way of erasing that interview, because there is a very obvious attempt to erase that interview and what Diana said. So it continues. Alexandra Petitfort, known as Tiggy, was given an apology at the High Court over unfounded allegations she had an affair with Prince Charles and an abortion. Her solicitor said the false claims had caused serious personal consequences. A probe has already found Panorama's Martin Bashir used fake documents to win Diana's trust. Now, regardless of what Martin Bashir did, to my understanding, the initial introduction was made by Diana's brother, and I w- I would always point out that, again, regardless of how Martin Bashir supposedly obtained this interview, Diana said what she said in that Martin Bashir interview, and she said it again to Andrew Morton. So they can keep trying to erase this interview, this BBC Panorama interview, but she darn near said the same thing, and even things that were done to her that were worse in the Andrew Morton interview, Diana in her own words. So I don't know why it is that they continue to try and rubbish this interview with Bashir, because even if the interview was wrongly obtained, Diana said what she said in that interview. And when you see the way that this institution acts, um, them trying to erase her words and erase her truth just makes them look even worse. I don't know what, I mean, my God, it's been like over 2 decades. It's like, why do they keep going back to this? Why are they so obsessed with that Martin Bashir interview? Because it's like the more they try to erase it, the more it just re-enters the public consciousness. It's like the Streisand effect. And then to make matters even worse, it's actually William's doing. Now, I've forgotten to put it on a slide, but I'm going to read. Just give me a sec. I'm going to read what the statement said regarding this. So it said, so this is from Tim Davie, the BBC Director General. He said, "It's a matter of great regret that the BBC did not get to the facts in the immediate aftermath of the programme, when there were warning signs that the interview might have been obtained improperly. Instead, as the Duke of Cambridge himself put it," so that's William, Harry is not mentioned in the statement, "the BBC failed to ask the tough questions. Had we done our job properly, Princess Diana would have known the truth during her lifetime. We let her, the royal family, and our audiences down. Now we know about the shocking way the interview was obtained. I have decided that the BBC will never show the programme again." So they have essentially censored that programme. They have censored one of the most infamous interviews of a generation. They've censored it. "Nor will we license it in whole or part to other broadcasters. It does not, of course, remain part of the historical record, and there may be occasions in the future when it will be justified for the BBC to use short extracts for journalistic purposes. But these will be few and far between, and will need to be agreed at executive committee level and set in the full context of what we know about the way the interview was obtained. I would urge others to exercise similar restraint." This is censorship. This is state propaganda. This is an insult, actually, to Diana's memory. And I find it disgusting that they can try and wrap this up um, in a way that makes it look like, we're doing. It's like they're trying to say, "Oh, we're doing this for the better of Diana," and we're so sorry that the truth didn't come out in her lifetime. She told her truth when she was alive. And as far as I'm concerned, even if the interview may have been obtained in a way that was dodgy, it doesn't take away from the fact that Diana spoke her truth still. Even if the interview had been obtained in a way that was fair and just, do you mean to tell me that Diana wouldn't have said the exact same thing? She absolutely would have. So I find this just to be insulting to Diana's memory, to Diana's truth, and the fact that William is involved in this way. He should be ashamed of him. He should be utterly ashamed. Right, gonna go to the comments before we carry on. Kat Harlem, they want them to sue because once they open that door, they can request all sorts of information about Harry and Meghan. Exactly, and this is what they wanted with the privacy lawsuit. They're trying to egg Megan on to sue because then they have to start digging. You're absolutely right for information because when someone makes a libelous claim about you, the burden is on you um, to prove that it was a lie. And you saw this with the Tasha K and Cardi B situation. Now she's actually Tasha K appealed, and I believe today actually the judge has said that appeal is not going to go through, and that Tasha K has to start paying Cardi B back with what money I don't know. But in order to win that case, Cardi had to present very sensitive and private information, including things like an STD test and things like that, because Tasha K had said that she had STDs and that she had been a prostitute. So Megan could find herself in a situation, if she was to sue Tom Bauer, where they can request all types of personal information. You're right, Kat Harlem, and I think that's what they want. They didn't get the court case that they wanted with the letter lawsuit, and they're still trying to push for a lawsuit. And it's not just the fact that Megan would have to potentially give out private information. She could also potentially have to come to the UK. I think they would try to somehow push for that, the way that they were trying to push for it with the privacy letter. Angela, Harry is not going to let his mother's legacy fade away, and neither are we. They want her legacy to fade away. They want her truth to fade away. It's been almost 25, isn't it like the 25th anniversary of her death coming up? And they're still trying. They need to just acknowledge that they have lost that battle. Carolyn, I wish Harry's book comes out in December. Take the spotlight away, I can't. Yeah, I'm actually hoping it comes out in December as well, just so it can be my nice Christmas holiday leave. Something nice to read over the holidays. Smidu, sorry you're late. You are never late. You can always watch on replay. All right, so that's that. Just to touch quickly on this nonsense, for the millionth time, I just had to laugh when I saw this. The Kate made Megan cry nonsense has come back. This story has had more reboots than a superhero movie. And I don't understand why they keep bringing this up. Is it because they think that people are going to have sympathy for Kate Middleton? And do you know what? I don't even think that people, even when this lie of the story first came out about Megan making Kate cry, I don't even think that people had sympathy for Kate. They just hated Megan. And it's now come up again. There is no version of this story, even if you dislike Megan, that makes Kate look good. There is no version of this story that makes a grown woman in her late 30s, early 40s look good for crying about tights. And quite frankly, when this story first came out, the only thing that should have been said is that Kate needs to get a grip. This is a future queen consort, and you're crying over tights. You're meant to be by the future king, your husband's side, as queen consort, and one day, and you're crying over tights. Pathetic. But yeah, here we go again, because I guess they have nothing else. We did the bullying claims again a couple of weeks ago. So we have to drag out something else. And they've dragged out the bullying claims. Right. So that's pretty much all I had to say today. We'll get through your comments as always. Thank you so much for coming. Make sure to go and read the article. The link has been pinned in the chat. if you haven't read it already, and I'll post the actually the link to the newsletter is posted on the community tab. So go to the community tab and you'll see the link to the newsletter. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Let's get through your comments. Oh, I wanted to show this. This is actually from Baron. This is from Baron over at Royal Sussex. And he basically had everyone in the family who's given a UN speech. You haven't, Charles. You shouldn't, Camilla. The Queen has, Meghan has, Harry has, and William, no, you ain't. And Mumbles most definitely cannot give a speech at the UN. I think she'll just collapse, to be honest. Carolyn, what else does BBC have on the rolls? Probably a lot. From my understanding, there's actually more to that interview that was never released. And I do wonder if that's also part of this whole crusade to censor the interview, because that's what they've effectively done. They have censored this interview. And so if there is more footage that never came out, that's never going to be allowed to come out now. Is it LZ? What Diana said then is even more relevant now. I agree. They believe by discrediting it, it will take away the legitimacy of it. I wouldn't be surprised if Diana left some receipts. I have always said this. I 100% believe that Diana has left not just receipts, like actual grenades that could blow up the monarchy in the form of secrets. I've always said this. So they can do everything they can to discredit Diana's words. Are they now going to try to come after Andrew Morton? Because even if you were going to completely dismiss Martin Bashir and what was said in that interview, are you going to dismiss Andrew Morton? It's like, to me, this just doesn't make sense. All they're doing is bringing more attention to the interview. And even today, I've seen people cutting and pasting that interview and sharing it all over social media. You can't control social media in the way that you can control mainstream media. And this is what, again, they don't seem to understand. They're so desperate to control mainstream media, but social media has become mainstream media, and they have no control over that. Joseph, Sean, I thought Harry discovered Diana's receipts and many more on his own. Yes. So Diana left receipts, grenades, everything. KG, isn't it strange that Diana did restate those same issues with white reporters, but only Bashir is getting vilified? Yes, that's actually a very, very good point. Could it be that because he's a person of color? Yes, because why haven't they gone after Andrew Morton? And yes, Wendy, that regardless of how the interview was obtained, Diana's words are her truth. Like, I don't think her truth would change based on how the interview was obtained. Wilson, it's obvious that they are trying to insert Charles and William in the news since Harry has been trending all of last week. Yes. Try all they want. I think that the trip in December to Boston is going to fall completely flat. And just like with the Caribbean tour, I was never going to talk about the tour in the Caribbean until it became an embarrassment. And I'm going to keep the same rule and same energy for when they go to Boston. I have absolutely no intention of covering that tour. But if it's an embarrassment and I can laugh and be petty, yes, I'm going to be petty. I am not above being petty. I will be as Petty as a citizen of Pettyville. But otherwise, that tour is going to come and go, and you won't hear a word from me about it. Annie, that recording is already plugged in our brains. Exactly. There were three of us in the marriage. You know the words. You literally know the words. I don't want to be the queen of the country. I want to be the queen of people's hearts. Like there are whole passages of that interview that are embedded in your mind. So go ahead and erase it from the archives. It's archived in our minds. If love, and they say they are a democratic country, exactly. And the dumb royalists will sit there and tell you that, oh, but the reason we need a queen is because the queen ensures that we don't become a fascist state. Well, isn't censorship of media a sign that you're pretty much going down that road? Valkyrie, the next season of The Crown will rekindle the rage the public felt towards Charles and the royal family. 100%. 100%. I can't wait for The Crown because you saw the way people were acting during the last season. And let me just say, for those of you who maybe didn't watch the last season of The Crown, I think they went very soft on Charles and the royals. Way too soft. There were things that were completely missed out from the last season. I actually think that the last season humanized Charles way more than it should have. It was not as harsh as it could have been, but I don't think they're going to be like that for the next season. And I do think that you're right, Valkyrie. I think that it will rekindle a lot of rage. And not only will it rekindle a lot of rage, but I think it will ignite a lot of rage in people that maybe don't know exactly what happened during the Danny years, like the younger kids. These Gen Zs on TikToks. You're gonna see comedy sketches of that camp on tape on TikToks. I'm telling you. Deb Bailey, they are desperate to clear Charles and Camilla before he becomes king. Yes, that's also part of the agenda. But then I think that the better thing to do would actually to just be would be to leave the interview alone and focus on causes and PR that focuses on positive things, not you trying to shut down and erase a whole interview in this way. This isn't going to help you because what type of king tries to censor his dead ex-wife? They don't know what they're doing in that palace, do they? Joyce, that's why Harry is doing his memoir, so that his children will hear from him in his own words about his life, about what happened to him. Exactly. Exactly. So that no one can write no one can rewrite his story. And there's still an hour of that Oprah interview that we never saw. And this is just my theory. I think the 1 hour that we didn't see, that there's an insurance policy in that 1 hour. I think there were things that were probably said that were said just to make sure the Sussexes can get their truth out if anything was to ever happen. And so I have to say, I was one of those squaddies when I heard about the Oprah interview. I was very nervous. I wasn't even sure if they could. I wasn't even sure if they should do it, if it would be a good idea. But now seeing what they're doing to this Diana interview, I think it's important that the Sussexes got their voices and their side of the story out there. Otherwise, this is what powerful institutions will do to you if you're not around to speak for yourself. So I'm so glad the Sussexes spoke their truth. God forbid anything ever happens to them, their words can never be erased. And I think that is actually good that they did it specifically with Oprah, someone that they're known to trust. Oprah was at their wedding, and no one could ever say, "Oh, Oprah obtained this, interview illegally" or anything like that. And it's just so sad that we even have to think in that way because of just how nasty and vile and desperate the firm are that they do anything to hurt these people. Anywho, Smidu, yes, we already know the truth about Charles and his desires to be a tampon. I was watching who was it? Lewis Hamilton, take that knighthood from Charles. And I just find it so I don't understand how you can have a system where someone like Lewis Hamilton, who's worked his whole life, is still working hard, has created such an amazing legacy, has to bow down to the tampon prince who's fishing around for Camilla's tampon. Like the whole system that we have here in the UK with the royals, it's so backward and it's so wrong. Because if anything, it should be Charles, who's never worked a day in his life, who should be bowing down to somebody like Lewis Hamilton, who's created his own legacy. Legs, Daughters of Success. I think that it's easier not be sympathetic to a person with a book, but when you can see what they're going through, it makes an impact. Therefore, they want her silence. Her words mattered. Yes, it's true. That's why I'm so glad. Like even with Andrew Morton, there's the book, but there's also the documentary. And, one of the things that I think a lot of people don't acknowledge enough is the way in which actually Camilla, um, gaslit Diana into thinking that they were friends. There's pictures of them, hanging out with the Aristo crowd, looking very friendly, and all the while, um, her and Charles were um, secretly, plotting behind her back. Mm. Angela, by censoring the interview, they are bringing more attention and public interest to the interview. Yeah, because there's a whole generation that um, maybe don't know the full story, and I think also this is also another attempt to stop the next generation from knowing and seeing the truth. But you can't censor the internet. That interview is going to be all over online, and people are going to spread it even more now. So I do think that they are becoming increasingly concerned that this newer up and coming generation is not as interested in the royals as the old royalist dinosaurs, and they want to make sure that the up and coming generation don't know what happened in the past. Benjamin, everything that Princess Diana said was on point. The only thing she stated she regretted was admitting the affair. I believe William was looking out for his own interests as king. Indeed. I also wonder if, to a certain extent, is this also to send a message to Kate? Like, don't you dare ever talk. Um, Phil B. Enjoy. I really think the investigation into Princess Diana's death should be reopened. You wouldn't be the only person that thinks that, dear. You wouldn't be the only person that thinks that. Lottie G, I wonder when we can start to order the book. Oh, the day I find out that book comes out, oh, I am going straight to Amazon. I will not hesitate. Might even do a giveaway actually. I never did a giveaway of the bench, so I'll do a giveaway of Harry's book for sure. Just remind me. Kim Coates, hello, hello. All of the efforts at revisionist history will be ruined. The next season of The Crown will put scandalous events of Charles and Camilla front and center. Yes, indeed. I mean, even now, I think the only people who have really accepted Camilla are like the older royalists. Like I don't know anyone in my close circle who likes Camilla. I remember my mum saying to me, "She makes my skin crawl." So I don't. I think there are a lot of people who maybe are ambivalent, who might say, "Oh well, Camilla was the love of child's life, and it is what it is, and they're married now, and it's been all these years." So they might put it like that. But I don't know anyone who's like, "I like Camilla." I don't know anybody. Nobody's ever said that to me. Megan should just ignore the book. All the lies will be revealed sooner or later. I think so as well. I think that Tom Powers is going to regret this. Going to regret it a lot. Uh, Dana Doria is still a mystery, so a court case of libel will be open to scrutiny. Be still and carry on the global Harry and Meghan. Yeah, I think that they are very disappointed that they are not and they have not been able to paint Doria in the stereotypical way in which they paint black women. They tried it in the beginning. They were calling her the dreadlock lady. I do also think that Megan straight out of Compton was not just directed towards Megan. I do think that it was directed towards her black mum as well. I have seen derangers posting conspiracy theories about Adoria being a criminal and being involved in criminal activities. So I think they're very disappointed that actually it's the Markle side of the family that has been a complete and utter embarrassment, and the Raglan side of the family have not been. But when you look at Meghan and you look at how gracious she is, how she carries herself, how she pretty much does not have a single stain on her record, we can see where she gets it from. She gets it from the mother. So I don't know why they think that they will ever find anything nasty on Doria. And even if they did, so what? People are human. People make mistakes in life. It wouldn't matter to me, but I don't think that they have anything, and I think it disappoints them. They can't paint Doria as um, the stereotypical ghetto criminal black woman the way they would want to paint her. It's actually the Markle side of the family that is a mess. Legs, Megan still has receipts. I don't understand what the firm is trying to do. Their messaging is all over the place and everything is blowing up in their face. So one of the other things that Omid actually said in that article was that Palace Aides had told Omid that they didn't think that Harry would be able to survive if he left the firm. And I think it just shows how people within the palace honestly think that it's like the world evolves around them and their institution. Even if at the very, very least, um, Harry could have very easily, even on his own, gotten gotten some deals, gotten some position somewhere. I mean, he'd already built Centre Barley, he'd already built Invictus. So even if he'd never met Megan, I think he would have still pretty much been okay trying to escape the firm by himself. He could have still made something of himself. It just so happened that he met Megan and all of her amazingness, and the two of them together are creating, what they're creating with Archwell and their production company. But I think that the firm is, they're so much in their own bubble, and they, the meanest people believe that they're anointed by God. So they must be absolutely shocked that Harry has survived by himself that he's created what he's created with Megan, but why wouldn't someone like Megan, who had a life, had a career, had a business, before she ever walked into the institution, why would someone like that fail? Thank you so much. Is it Esendu for the super sticker? Much appreciated. Having said that, though, every other member of the Unroyal Mafia who's tried to leave the cult hasn't survived. And so that's probably why they thought that Harry wouldn't be able to survive. But then also, having said that, none of the others have ever created anything that similar to what Harry's done in terms of charities and the Invictus Games. So I think they themselves underestimated Harry, and Harry is clearly cut from a different cloth in comparison to the rest of them. Sussex Global, hello. Kate has no subject that is even worth reading in a free newspaper. Kate does not sell papers. Well, there was a time actually when she did in the very early days. But I think her even the obsession with her clothes, and that's pretty much all we have to talk about nowadays when it comes to Kate. That obsession and the interest is diminishing. So once upon a time, she did, not so much anymore. All right. Who's going to get the last word of the day? Let's wrap it up. It's coming to almost an hour. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Saturnia Smith, hello. Another case of a black woman being made the bully because someone like Kate didn't get her way at Meg's wedding. If she did cry, that is ludicrous. Yeah, it is. There is no version of that story that makes Catherine look good. And I feel like people were just so desperate to find any reason to hate Meghan that they jumped on that story. But really, it's Catherine that comes out looking silly. Um, Adrian, royals have skeletons in the closet. Diana has a diary somewhere, and I do hope Harry has it. Yeah, I've always wondered, what receipts and grenades did Diana leave? A diary, videos, letters. I do think we'll find out one day. Oh, and also another thing that Omid said about Harry's book was that it did not contain the attacks that they keep so the firm keep freaking out about. And I've said from the beginning, I just don't think that this book with Harry is going to be the expose that the firm keeps freaking out that it's going to be. I just don't. Wendy, there was a journal that Diana kept. What became of that journal? I don't know anything specifically about a journal. I know that she wrote a lot of notes, but I don't know anything about a journal. Sometimes I wonder, could Diana even trust her own family? Because her brother also said that he didn't let her come to stay at the family house to escape the paparazzi. So, and actually, I forgot. I almost forgot. I didn't put it on the slide, but Diana's brother actually tweeted. Yeah, Charles Spencer. He has a Twitter. He actually tweeted about the nanny case. He said, "While I'm delighted to see that another innocent victim of this appalling scandal is being vindicated, it's amazing to me that no criminal charges have been levied against those responsible." Well, wouldn't that partly be you, Charles Spencer, because you introduced Diana to Bashir? And you also refused to let your sister stay at the family house when she was being hounded. So I do think that Charles Spencer harbors a certain level of guilt, and he's trying to pass off some of the blame to everyone else when it was him that wouldn't let his sister stay at the family home. And who knows, like if he had, would it have made a difference? And would, Dana still be here? He seemed to want to distance himself from his sister at the time. But then when it came to the funeral, um, he, he gave the Queen and the Windsors a, a, a pretty harsh finger wagging in his speech. Yes, skeptical. Karma takes no prisoners, they'll see. Denise, her diary page that said car accident, wasn't that wasn't that in a note that was passed on to the butler? And then in the court case, didn't they dismiss the note because they said that it wasn't her handwriting? It was something like that. I know the note that you're talking about, that said, "Oh, they're trying to hurt me in a car accident, brain injury." But I think when the investigation happened, it got written off because they said that that wasn't Diana's handwriting or something like that. I think I'm gonna do a whole episode where I just revisit certain parts of the Diana years leading up to her death. I think there's a lot that needs to be revisited. Yes, Joan, why was Kate interfering in another lady's wedding in the Hello everyone, can everyone hear me? Can everyone hear me? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Don't know what happened there. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, you can hear me. Okay. All right, I'm not sure what happened there, um, but yeah, I think that was probably just a sign that I just need to end the podcast. So yeah, as soon as I started talking about shady things that happen around Diana's death, something happens to the podcast. So I think that's just a sign that I need to end the podcast. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming as usual. Please don't forget to thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We are almost at 10,000, everyone. Thank you so much. And yeah, I will play us out. Tomorrow is Friday. And yeah, have a good rest of your day, everyone. Bye.